We all know that transportation is playing a huge part in our daily lives. Transportation is the means of carrying goods and people from one place to another. This has become very important in each stage of human civilization. If the present means of transportation were not developed, situation of the world would be totally different. Transportation has contributed much to the development of economic, social, political, and cultural fields and uplifting their condition. Speedy industrialization is impossible without development of transportation. It is unavoidably necessary to promote transport system for the proper development of agricultural sector and rural areas. Without development of transportation, neither mass production nor distribution is possible. Transportation helps in mass production, whether it is to purchase and bring raw materials, or it is to distribute finished goods. One or the other means of transport is necessary. This expands old markets and create new ones. As a result, demands of goods increases and production should also be increased. The contribution of transportation is very important to transport commodities to nooks and crannies of the world in a little time. If the development of transportation was not made, market would be limited in local areas, and production would be limited to meet local needs only. As a result, economy of each country would remain in a developed condition. Transportation helps much to the development of different industries, which produce perishable goods such as fisheries, poultry farms, dairy, etc. Transport carries the perishable goods produced by such industries to the consumers living in different distant places in time. Otherwise, such products would not possible to supply to the consumers. Vehicles such as cars,
Solid waste means any garbage, refuse, or sludge that is discarded derived from activities of the society. After being discarded from a production plant, where does these tire wastes go? In order to maintain sustainability, the solid waste in the production of tires can end up in the stockroom, return to the supplier, or even be recycled. Empty containers of rubber and talc are stored in the stockroom after rinsing. Containers of steel rods, chemical supply, and fillers return to the supplier, but these wastes are sorted into two. The steel rod container is immediately returned without any additional process, while the drums of chemical supplies and filler containers undergo triple rinsing with a capable solvent. Lastly, solid waste that are excess materials like fabric ply, cardboard, steel belt, thread, wire rod, and fabric board are recycled after being flattened out and are free of contaminants.
Environmental and social impacts of tire. Tires are scrapped at a rate of 1.1 tire per person per year, which leads to over 300 million tires scrapped per year. Landfill space is becoming more and more scarce as tires do not biodegrade and have significant negative space. Fortunately, tires are 100% recyclable. The high quality of steel and rubber found in tires are easily reintegrated into the manufacturing process at very minimal or no change to existing manufacturing processes. Such products using recycled tires have proved to perform better than traditional materials. The global implications of reducing waste tires are many, such as improved socio-economic justice, reducing landfill, reducing carbon footprint, and creating a safer society. Environmental and social impacts of tire. Tires which is improperly stored can become a breeding ground for 1,000 of mosquitoes which can carry life-threatening disease such as dengue fever. Tires have potential for tire fires which produce acid smoke, which is harmful to humans and the environment as well as leaves behind an oily residue. Tire fires are not extinguishable and in some instances burn for several weeks. It takes up landfill space and as land is becoming more and more scarce that will eventually towards illegal dumping. This drives down home values and causes socio-economic segregation as tires typically are dumped in low-income areas. Tires in landfills have led to worker injury and death. With the amount of negative space in tires which are compressed with more waste, they tend to rebound to the surface, leading to tires rolling for falling onto workers. According from an international research project studying the potential environmental and health impacts of tire materials and road wear particles, there are no adverse effects from inhalation exposure to tire and road wear particles, and that the concentration of tire and road wear particles in air and sediment were below toxicity levels.
Under normal circumstances, as altitude increases, the temperature drops, with the air on the surface warmer than the air above it. Thus, the air will be able to mix and spread around the pollutants better. Whereas during thermal inversion, the air above the ground is warmer than the air below it, creating an invisible barrier called inversion layer or cap. Thermal inversion is a result of other weather conditions in an area. It can occur during a clear night where the ground rapidly releases the heat that it has held in for an entire day. In coastal areas or in a valley. However, in an area where pollutants are abundant, the inversion cap goes down and traps the pollutants. This is because pollutants are getting bigger and heavier, which results in a gradual stop in atmospheric mixing. Thus, the air becomes stable.
The major environmental impact from the tire manufacturing is associated with tire storage, which are the risk of tire fires that can cause severe potential environmental impacts, and the risk of tire leachate contaminating groundwater, surface water, and soil.